I like these gray ones. So far, this is my favorite pick. Like the color, no holes in the bottom, not a bad price, so this might be what we're gonna go with. Pretty rigid plastic too, but still a little flexible so it won't crack, I don't think. Alright, I think I've decided I'm gonna get this gray one here. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, and this is my 10-gallon sort of, I don't know what style tank, just kind of grow out plant tank that houses my black leopard guppies. And you can see a couple of them right here. They're really stunning fish, and I really love having them. In fact, I've just recently got a nice spawn out of them, but unfortunately, or I guess fortunately for me, I've got a big tank that I want to put here. I actually have it bought. It's actually right down there, but I'm not going to show it to you just yet. Probably not in this video, actually. And I need this space so that I can put the tank there. And their tank's taking up the room. Don't have space to move it anywhere. So I'm going to relocate them and all the plants and stuff in here to a place on the floor. And the best thing to use on the floor, so just setting the tank on the floor, is to do a mini pond. So what I want to do is take this flower pot I bought. It's about, I think, 20 gallons, something like that. So it's an upgrade over what they're in right now, a 10-gallon upgrade. And turn it into a really awesome little mini pond, sort of utilizing all this stuff that's already in the tank. So pretty much, it's just going to be transferring all that scape into this pond, and just sort of giving it a new look, giving the guppies a new home. So that's going to be really nice. So let's get right to work breaking this tank down. First thing I had to do was catch all the adult guppies out, which wasn't too hard because guppies aren't really the smartest fish in the world. Then I had to catch the fry, which was a much harder task, and it required a lot of searching just to catch these tiny little fish. Okay everybody, I searched the tank as best I could. There's no guaranteeing I got every single fry out, but I did my best. As you can see, in here are all the adults, all doing just fine. And in here are the fry, at least the ones I could find. I hope I got them all, but there's pretty much no way of knowing. You can see them all zipping around. There's probably 5 or 6 in here. I don't really know. It wasn't a huge spawn from what I can tell, but hopefully I got them all. I mean, there's no way to tell. I mean, this is literally a massive jungle of roots. A little baby guppy could literally be anywhere in here. I removed the first piece of wood. You can see it right here. I'm going to save all the plants I can from this tank. So now it's time to get all the hardscape out. There's some rocks and wood in there. And I want to save the substrate because it's full of bacteria that'll make adding them into their pond instantly possible. And it's also full of nutrients, and the plants are already adjusted to it. But I'm going to get all the substrate out, pull all the plants out, drain the tank, substrate, and then we can start scaping the new one. Getting these big plants out is going to be quite the process. I think these are arrowhead plants or arrowleaf plants. I don't really know what they're called, but they're so rooted in here. It's insane. Like, I can't even pull this one up. I'm going to need to get in there with the scissors and just cut the roots down, because I'm sure this entire bottom of this tank is just blanketed in roots. So it's insane. This will, like, at least 2 years of growth with these plants. I think I'm getting one a little loose here. Here comes one. And I'm just doing my best not to damage them. It's really crazy. Let's see if I can get it out with the roots intact. But this is a big plant. Started off from some tiny trimmings. Yeah, check that out. It's pretty crazy. Look at that. That's quite a lot of plant right there. So I think my scissors are in here. Now I've got this massive root ball. I'm just gonna hack away at it until I've got this plant loose. Just insane amounts of growth. Very healthy plant, and hopefully it'll keep growing so well in the new setup. It is crazy to think that this sheer volume of just plant matter it came out of a 10-gallon tank. It's going to be quite a lot of extras they'll have to spread around, I think. but pardon the mess. I'm really sorry. I just things get like this when I'm building things. But we got all the plants out. The tank looks like this right now. So I'm just gonna finish this up. You don't really need to see me taking this part of this all down. I'm just gonna get this thing turned into a blank 10 gallon. Probably won't reuse it. I don't know. We'll see. And then we'll get to scaping this. Alright, so we got the tank all cleaned out. You can see it's just, it's a pretty dirty tank here, but it was a very stable, nice tank. And what you can see at the bottom here, to the average person, it's just dirty, smelly, slimy mud. But to me, this is gold. It is full of beneficial bacteria, full of nutrients right here. This is literally garden soil, just topsoil. You can get it at like Home Depot or whatever. So this was a dirty tank, and the mini pond will be. So what we're going to do is get all this sand out and put it in the base of the mini pond as a nutrient layer, and then cap it with clean sand just to keep it from mixing with the water column. And that's all we have to do now, so I'm going to get this tank removed. You guys don't have to watch that. We're going to get all this substrate out, and we'll start building the mini pond. But first, let's talk about the lighting situation. So I'm pretty much, as I said, just transferring what was in here over to a pond setup, and I'm going to be using the same lights. I don't really know what kind of light this is. It's just some sort of light of some sort, just something cheap. I don't really know. Got it at a thrift store. And it's also lit up by this little desk lamp. Don't know if I'll need this and this, but I'm definitely going to move this over here so I can have some light while I'm scaping it, and also it'll give the plants light when this thing is fully set up. I then grabbed the tank and just poured the mud and sand mixture that was in the bottom straight into the pond. There was probably an easier and less messy way to do this, but hey, this worked for me. The mixture was then capped with locally collected beach sand. Before continuing with the project, I wanted to add some of the old hardscape into here. It's really not going to be visible much at all, but it will add some nice detail and it will help support the plants. Finally, it was time for the tricky part, fitting in all these giant plants to this small space while still making it look good. Okay, everybody, the pond is done. It is certainly quite the jungle of plants. I mean, it's sort of how it was going to be, but I managed to sort of incorporate every single plant in here. And pardon the little pot, my air conditioner was leaking. I will no longer be using the AC in here, if anyone was wondering, just because it's blowing cold air and pretty much right onto this, and it would get to temperatures that I don't think the fish would like. So it's going to be a little uncomfortable in here for me with the heat, but I'm sure the fish will not mind that at all. So back to the pond, things are looking great. The fish have settled in just fine. They're a little bit harder to see in here, but you can see hopefully a couple of them zipping around right here. I've seen a couple of the fry. They're just impossible to film, so I can't really show you. But everything's looking good in here. Hopefully we'll have good success with the plants. The light is pretty subdued, like there's not a ton of light going on here, especially in the water column, so we likely won't have much algae at all. And I did add a dwarf graham lily in here. You can see that I had it growing in my plant tank, and it's already got a little lily pad up here. This is the day after I set it up, actually, so this lily pad was already there. Hopefully we can get some more lily pads out of it. I think that would really increase the natural look. Got some giant duckweed right there. The sticks are just barely visible, but when you can sort of like look through the foliage and see the sticks, you can see that tillandsia poking out right there, and then you can sort of look through the jungle and see some of the sticks coming up. I think it adds a nice little effect to it, and this looks great. And I paid, I think, $14 for the pot. The plants were all free for me, but I mean, you can get these plants so cheap because, well, I got these plants as little tiny clippings a long time ago, like probably 2 years ago, from my neighbor who had this plant and some pothos. I just asked if I could take some clippings. She agreed, and it turned into this. And so if you guys can do that, that's great, but you can also buy them from any hardware store. Might take a bit of time for it to grow out, but you can still do this for really cheap. The filtration quote-unquote system I have running on this, I just have an air pump and an air stone. This air pump I got at a thrift store for $3, and then the air pump and then the air stone I already had. So, you know, this was a super budget setup for me. I spent $14 on it, and that's really all I had to do. And I think it looks really good for, you know, the price I paid for this. It's a pretty substantial sized pot. Like, when I sit down, like, on the floor. Like, it comes right up to the perfect viewing angle for me. It's probably about 20 gallons, but the substrate does reach up pretty high, so they probably have about 15 gallons of swim room in all. But there's so much just hiding places for them and all that great stuff in here. So hopefully they'll keep breeding in here, and it'll be a really nice setup for them. So hope you guys enjoyed today's video. See you guys next time. Thanks for watching.